There are some very interesting court documents coming out of court today alleging that Hamas captors cruelly taunted Israeli hostages with news stories and photos of the anti-Semitic protest at Columbia University, and that these terrorists in Hamas bragged to hostages about having a quote-unquote army of propagandists to spread their hateful messages. That's according to new court records being reported today by the New York Post. Freed Israeli hostage Shlomo Ziv claims he was shown disturbing images and stories of the protest that engulfed the campus of Columbia University while he was being held captive in the Gaza Strip in the tunnels under Gaza by the Hamas terrorist organization. Now, Ziv is a plaintiff in this suit. He is suing a slew of anti-Israel groups in Manhattan's federal court for, quote, aiding and abetting Hamas's continuing acts of international terrorism and violations of the law of nations, end quote, after Hamas's attacks on Israel on October 7, 2023, in which they slaughtered some 1,200 people and kidnapped another 251 hostages, 58 of whom, both dead and alive, are still being held in the tunnels beneath Gaza by Hamas. According to the lawsuit, quote, with the news report on, Ziv's captors told him, quote, you see, we have our own people everywhere. They then told him that Hamas has an army operating out of Gaza that focuses specifically on media and on sending Hamas propaganda and messaging throughout America, end quote. Now, Ziv, the former hostage, was held for 246 days in captivity by Hamas after he was kidnapped from the Supernova Music Festival on October 7th in Israel. He was rescued by Israeli commandos in a raid in June 2024. In his suit, he said that he was shown Al Jazeera stories and pictures of the Columbia University protest, and that his captors, quote, bragged about having Hamas operatives on university campuses, end quote. This lawsuit has been filed on behalf of former hostages, the families of murdered hostages, and former Israeli military personnel involved in the counteroffensive after October 7th on Hamas. Now, the suit claims that the organizers of the Columbia protest are essentially an arm of the Hamas terrorist organization that impact their lives as Israelis and as Israeli Americans. Now, this lawsuit names several campus groups, including Within Our Lives, United for Palestine, Columbia Students for Justice in Palestine, Columbia University Apartheid Divest, Columbia Barnard Jewish Voice for Peace, and individual founders of those groups. Again, those individuals and groups have all engaged in anti-Semitic conduct and speech and activity during their anti-Israel advocacy. I'm going to be staying on this story. I'll have more for you soon.